this is functionally what it is as a cutscene. Like, if you're not supposed to press anything, and that's the only way to survive, then you might as well just take control away from me, because this, again, is not real difficulty to me, because if you have to press nothing, then you might as well just take control away, because if pressing any key or interacting with the game at all means death, then why are you allowing me to move?
I'd better stay in the middle for control. Who knows what's down there? That was too close. Let's not try that again.
It did say stay in the middle for control, which makes you think you need to use the controls to stay in the middle. But in fact, you need to press no controls, and also you need to look at the middle, apparently. Didn't say anything about that, just, you know, staying in the middle.
I'd better stay in the middle for control. Who knows what's down there?
Also, sometimes that just doesn't even work, so very good. Also, you know, if you're going down a slope, trying to stay in the middle, to me, you would want to look at the ground to make sure you're in the middle of the ground, but hey, I guess that's not a thing. Letting go of the keys, trying to look at the middle on the top, because that's the first thing you would want to do when you're sliding, is to not look where you're going, right? So, 1 out of 3. So, I guess this was maybe tested once and it got lucky, and he's like, okay, that's good. And letting go. Trying to look at the middle.
Stay in the middle for control. Who knows what's down
but
there?
I'm going so fast, I'm just not sure about it. 1 out of 4. So, you can see, trying to get this more than once.
I'd better stay in the middle for control. Who knows what's down there? That was too close. Let's not try that again.
2 out of 5, is that it? I mean, that's something. Let's see if we can get 3.
I'd better stay in the middle for control. Who knows what's down there?
Like, first of all, I had to look at the walkthrough to be told that I'm not supposed to press any buttons. And then I had to trial and error to realize I had to look to the center there instead of look to the center here. It's just... Anyway, let's see if we can get 3. That isn't our 3. Now, it's possible maybe it doesn't even matter where you are in the tunnel. Maybe it's just where you're facing when you come out. I'm not even sure. But, I mean, you have to be looking forward, but there's a wall in your face.
That was too close. Let's not
Well,
try that
let's
again.
call that 2.5.
I'd better stay in the middle for control. Who knows what's down there? That was too close. Let's not try that again.
Okay, that's 3.5 times. Well, I think I'm done proving my point here. However, regarding this door, I went back in to try to bitch some more about it in a more detailed manner. But, apparently the way it works is, let me just get rid of this guy. the way it works is, okay, you check these doors, they're both locked, and their handles are both in a locked position. Okay? Now let's go to listen to this conversation first this time. So, at first I thought maybe this guy going to check on the prisoner was somehow going to open the door or something, but turns out he just keeps walking, because, you know, I was like, okay, when does this door actually magically open? It's not actually after you finish hearing that conversation.
I'm as sure of it as the builder himself.
So let's just
All is quiet once more.
follow the guy as much as we can here.
For Karis'
That
sake,
lady.
is there someone there?
I bet they were not expecting us to be here. Some of my brothers.
Okay. Oh, shoot. Garrett.
What did you hear?
Okay. Send. Good enough. Now, you see this guy. This guy, I guess, came through the door and unlocked it. Or if it's a lady. It's a lady, whatever. But I didn't hear this door being unlocked. Furthermore, the handles are still in the lock position. And furthermore, also the way I played this mission, I didn't even see this guard until I came back here like way later. Like way later, after I'd already bopped the priest and everything. So it looked to me like this door, like I'm guessing is that this guard's supposed to come through here and you're somehow supposed to deduce without seeing it because you're busy with this convo that she has unlocked these doors. I kind of get it conceptually then, but again, like here's the thing. It looked to me like these doors were just magically unlocked and there was no indication either beforehand or looking at them. And when shit like that happens, I feel like the author is not acting in good faith towards me. Like, okay, you know, like these conversations where they have these computer voices, right? Sure, I'm poking some light fun at them now and again, but I'm not throwing Gort under the bus for it, because I said the first time I heard it, I'm like, look, this is kind of weird, but I don't know what went on during development. I guess he couldn't get enough voice actors or something. I don't know, so at least he's got something in here. He's got a story he wants to tell. He's got dialogue. If all he can get is a computer voice, well, at least it's something. That's good faith, okay? That's him saying, I know it's not perfect, but I'm trying. When it's stuff like the ice tunnel or the music room or these doors appearing to just poof open, I feel like the author is not trying and doesn't care and is not making a good faith effort. Like, it doesn't even have to be good. You know, the writing could be cliched, it could be badly spelled, things could be really like held together with duct tape, but if I can see the author's trying, then I care. But when I feel like the author is just doing stuff like this, where it looks like the doors just poof open and there's zero indication. And I mean, I see it was an accident, but then you got to make it clear. You have to make sure that if I'm to be able to know that this guard is supposed to have unlocked these doors, you have to make sure that I'm going to see that. Like, even if I play it exactly the right way, I mean, like, there's all these different amounts of time you could delay. You could delay because you're waiting for this lady to walk and then bop her. I mean, it's not like a straight shot. And if you're going to have a timed thing like that where the routes are timed and I'm supposed to see, you have to make sure I see it or else it's going to look, I'm not going to know. So yeah. That's really what I'm complaining about is Gort, I know he's capable of great design because there's those two brilliant puzzles in that castle mission. But then he's capable of just having that music room or the ice tunnel or this door here. And this is what I mean. Anyway. So I just wanted to make a little video, you know, talking about some things more in depth and really breaking things down, because I've been saying a lot of stuff recently. I've been screaming and yelling, and then sometimes I've been saying, oh, but this is good. So I just wanted to break this mission down and then talk about a couple of other things. So I'm not sure even where to begin, but let's just start. Like, you play this mission, and let's start from here. You come into the castle. So right off the bat, you're presented with this blue floor, and you can go up here and you can see that there's this green floor, and that looks like maybe red up there, but you can't quite see it yet. You see these symbols on the floor, and you're like, well, these look really like, specific. This looks like a pattern that means something, maybe. So you kind of keep it in the back of your mind, and you start exploring. I mean, this is after you've taken out the annoying ghosts with constant tile floors and all that, but, like, never mind that. Let's say you're taking all the ghosts. You start exploring. You come across nothing but locked doors everywhere, so eventually you end up here, and you end up with this nice hint for what's going to be a puzzle. Brian Hughes. Now, you don't know that yet, but it's a hint. So far, so good, apart from the annoying enemies. Oh, yeah, you don't go in there yet. That door is locked. So the first unlocked door you find is this, and on this desk you find the garden key. Now, what is this office? You know, it's a random office with a garden key, and the thing is, this mission is all about just getting a key and then going to another room that's as far away as possible and then getting another key. Now, the thing is, there's nothing wrong with that in concept, really. I mean, you get the key from there, you go all the way, I mean, other than the fact that you're meant to go as far as possible constantly all the time, which feels trollish, but it's not even here, is it? No. But you go over here and you go into the garden. But I just want to kind of try to explain a little bit more what my problem is here, because, like I say, the idea of going to a room and then getting something that lets you get into another room is perfectly fine. But it's that you find the garden key on a random desk. And then you come into the garden, and then here by the spiders you find the music room key. And this is where it starts to get, you know, it's fine that you come into the garden and then there's a challenge presented to you, i.e. the spiders. You could try to sneak or run or kill them or whatever. Then your reward is access into another room. Conceptually, that's perfectly fine. But the problem is it doesn't feel integrated into the world. You know, this is basically a realistic world, more or less. You know, Thief, it's supposed to be a real place. And to be asked to believe that there are characters here and that there's a story and these characters are supposed to be real people, but then to have rooms that feel like they're just making you run around, and then there's a challenge that's unrelated to anything, and then you get a key that's unrelated to anything in the world, that you then unlock something. I mean, it's functional gameplay, but it doesn't feel satisfying because there doesn't seem to be any reason for it. And it just kind of goes on like that until you get to the music room where there's a puzzle which, again, apparently there seems to be no clues for, which is very strange to me. But once you've solved it, the floor opens and then you get a key to the fountain room. And again, there's no notes or anything tying this into the world, and so you can kind of get an idea of what I mean, I'll actually give you a counter example. I think it's this one. So, yeah, right here.
Seems that King Brian took me to a very high point of these mountains. I just hope that Garrett can hold out.
So, right at the start of this mission here, if as I did, you choose to go this way, you eventually end up coming to a note. So right in here, there is this hideout, and there's this guy here who's written a note. There's a locked chest, okay? So here he tells about how he's exploring this place. He's found a door. He gives you a clue. Well, he basically tells you what to do to open this strange, mysterious door. And then he talks about how there's some kind of a rock monster, and he's running away from it to where he's camping, which is here, okay? And then he tells you, okay, there's more than one of them chasing him. So far he's safe, but then they found him. So he talks about how you need holy water to put in the pedestal. He's got one locked chest, which might clue you, since you don't have any holy water. Maybe holy water's in here, because he's probably keeping it safe. You don't know where the key is, but the rock monster's got him. So he's not in that room, but he did say that there was, you know, a special door somewhere. So if you just kind of explore around here a little bit, there's not too many ways you can get lost. You will eventually come down to the left path here. And if you just go a little ways down this left path, you will see a skeleton, and then you see the ghost of what is presumably the guy running, presumably from a rock monster. You know, it's all clued and it all makes logical sense. You look at his skeleton, because he dies right here and it looks important. You find an old rusty key. Now, I did say that it's better to not just always have the access to a new area be a key, because that's often just unsatisfying, and it's more interesting if you have it be something else, like, you know, in Broken Triad, like a ghost opens a grave, or you go to the sewers and you lower the water level, or you can't get into a certain secret passage, so you have to go to your room where you're supposed to meet someone, and then you find that the plot's gone wrong, and then there's a note telling you how to open things. You know, really detailed and nuanced ways that feel integrated into the world and the story in order to get to a new area. However, if you're going to just have a key, this is the way to do it, okay? It's not just this random irrelevant key sitting in a random place for no reason. There's an explanation, okay? The key is for the holy water in the chest, because you need to put it onto the pedestal so you can open this door. And there is a guy who is exploring in here, right? And that's believable. People explore mountains or whatever, you know, get killed all the time in them. That's perfectly fine. He's got a locked chest, so you can put together that there must be holy water in there, and he's probably got the key on them if it's not in his room. So you go looking for him, because he says he's got by the rock monster. So you go looking for a body maybe, right? And then you find it, and then there's the key to his chest. Now you see how everything makes story sense. The key is here for a story reason. And even though it's, you know, yet another key, it feels perfectly fine, because you feel like it's part of the world. You see what I'm saying? Whereas when you just go here and solve these weird unrelated puzzles, some of which have no clues, and you just keep getting keys, it's like, really, it's frustrating. It's like being promised a great big mouth-watering meal, and then you just get like a tasteless crumb, or a sniff of air that kind of smells like a meal, but is almost gone or something. It's really, that's like what triggers the rage, is that it's frustrating. You want this to mean something, and it just constantly doesn't. So you go through the whole sequence, and then at last you end up, you know, here in this underground place, and this kind of looks like it's going to be something really interesting, because a lot of missions have a sort of mansion or a castle, and then underneath is something evil, or, you know, some weird underground place, or some evil temple. So you're like kind of psyched for it to be, what is the word? You know, packed full of flavor, like for it to have a lot of substance. And then you kind of just go all the way in here. You go all the way to the end. And again, there's nothing wrong with this place by itself. This is a perfectly fine, you know, Maw-like place. And if this were part of an integrated story where there was like a satisfying reason to come down here, this would be perfectly good, you know? It's tense because you barely get any breath. I mean, I did go insane there after realizing there's no breathing hole up there. But you just go there and you get a blue castle key. You know, not like you don't do anything magical to that pedestal or anything like that. Whoa. There's nothing really going on. It's just a pedestal with a key. And then you're starting to wonder, how on earth did that key get here? Like, who swam here and put the key? Well, it's nothing. It just feels so frustrating to just be led around through what could be an interesting area if it felt like it meant something. But as it is, it just feels like you're just being put through a random place that's unrelated to anything and being given an unsatisfying reward. And when I'm... You know how in The Matrix that guy's like, I don't even see the code, I just see... You know what I mean? When I'm playing this mission, I feel like I don't even see the visuals. I just see like a long... Like I almost see like a black screen with just a long passage with grid lines, and I'm just moving really, like I don't see the visuals because it's supposed to look like a real world, but it doesn't feel like one. It feels like I'm just being led through some ASCII black and white text where my character's just moving really slowly and I have to type in random numbers and guess the right number every so often or something. Like I don't, you know what I mean? having said that, like I said, there's these puzzles in here, some of which are really good, and I wanted to acknowledge that. I mean, I sort of did, but I just wanted to say, to explain what my problem was there, and with this music flute puzzle, which, you know, just to remind, you come in here and you have to play these instruments in the right order, which as far as I'm aware, you're given no clues about. And then this thing opens, and then you get another key. So after all of that, I just wanted to say there's 3 puzzles in here that I want to talk about. So in the fountain room, you have this puzzle here. Now, you have to go around here to get the clue for it. And I would say this is a decent puzzle because you do get this note where it tells you a poem. So like tells you about the king and the queen, and so this is fairly obscure, but it does give you the information you need. And I would say this puzzle almost kind of teeters on being BS, just due to the fact that where am I going? It kind of makes you think, I mean, these switches are supposed to represent the arms of the people, I think is what it is. And it kind of makes you think that it's just the number of times that these people get mentioned, maybe. And I would say that this is kind of weird. Like, all of these switches are pointed the same direction. Like, she's pointed toward her, and vice versa, because they're like embracing each other. The king's pointed towards the war, and this is the only one where the 2 switches are pointed in opposite directions. I'm still not 100% sure why. Like, it's pointed this way because a war came, but then it's pointed that way for some reason. I'm not sure why. I think it would be better if there was just one switch beneath each of these, because like they're all pointed the same direction anyway, except for that one, and this one doesn't 100% seem intuitive. So if it was just the one switch, you wouldn't get misdirected as much. So I would say it's kind of a jerkish puzzle maybe, but it's not like complete BS like that music puzzle, because you are given the information you need. So this one, okay. But the 2 puzzles that I want to talk about, well, you got your color puzzle here, and then you got your pedestal puzzle. So this is a really good puzzle, like I was saying, because your clue is down here, and at first when you see it, you're not sure what it means, but it's clearly, you know, a clue. Now, I mean, it's a long way from that, so that's kind of an annoying thing with just making you run around a lot, but when you first see it, you're like, okay, well, there's like these numbers, and there's a sword, and there's a 1, but then there's 2 tiles, and there's 1 tile. You're not sure what it means, but there's different colors, and when you see those statues, you can put these colors together, and it's good because, you know, it has some subtleties about it, right? Because you're not sure you've got the number 1, 2, and 3, but then you've got the tile count, which is 1, 1, and 2, and you're not sure which means what. And so when you see this, even if you twig that these are the colors, and again, this is also good because these have purple sort of berries or flowers on them, I guess flowers. And so at first glance, it almost looks like this is green, green, and orange, but you have to look closely to see it's purple. So that's like a subtlety to trip you up, but it's not BS because it still tells you what you need to know. So you see the colors, and then you're just like, okay, but what about the numbers? And you saw me, I was like, oh yeah, that's right. You must have to swing at these in order, and then the number of times that the tiles say. So you have all the info you need, but it's obscure. That's a good puzzle. You're given what you need, but you just have to put it together. So this, in my opinion, is a really good puzzle. And then, of course, the colored puzzle. This is, as I said, brilliant in my opinion, because you come here and you see these shapes, and you're like, what could these be? I mean, you recognize the 3 colors. You know, the blue floor here, and then you get the green floor, and then once you've finished the library, you can see that the 3rd floor is red on the floor, and you can see the red star emblems, and at this point you're thinking, what do these star shapes mean? And that's the misdirection, right? The puzzle, again, gives you all the information you need, but it subtly misdirects you, making you think that these individual shapes matter, but it's their positioning, and you're looking at the colors, you're looking at the shapes, you're trying to figure it out, and suddenly you get that aha moment where you're like, wait, it's the position of them. Suddenly you see it in 3 dimensions. Suddenly you see it like from a bird's eye and you're like, the whole castle is the puzzle. The positions of these things make up the shape. That is a brilliant aha moment. Like, that is a perfect puzzle. That is absolutely brilliant. It gives you what you need, but you have to see it. And there's no BS. It's fair. It's hard, but it's fair. That is real difficulty. That is actual difficulty. And then you have to put in the things here, but then like you find that a couple of them are switched on already, so you have to switch them off. And then it tells you when you've got it right. I love this puzzle. And this is a great puzzle. Like, just do more of this.